So I thought this could be an interesting topic for a video, as the Buffalo Bills, of course, I had been kind of complaining for years that I felt like they needed more receiving options besides Diggs. And I guess that's not my complaint anymore, because they got rid of Diggs. They traded him away and have now added more receiving options. They also lost Gabe Davis. So when I felt like it was already kind of a receiving core lacking in depth, losing your best two receivers is a question mark. But there are other players that can maybe help fill that role. This is their list of notable wide receivers or tight ends. So you have Keon Coleman, the first selection by them, which was an early second round pick. Khalil Shakir, they added Marquez Valdes-Scantling, they added Mac Hollins, and then a couple flyers like KJ Hamler and Chase Claypool, which are like, who knows. Also Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. The number next to them is where they ranked in terms of Pro Football Focus grades, and you see that, there's a bit of a mixed bag with this group, and I kind of wanted to get into the most notable players and talk about what they bring to the table and how potentially the total of this group could be maybe greater than the sum of their parts. So that's what we're going to do in today's video. Before we get into it though, just wanted to mention that I do have a movie channel. If you like movies, check out the movie channel. It's called Jackson Kruger Movies. The link is in the description. I do some like movie reviews, stuff like that. So if that seems like it's something you're interested in, check that out. But anyway, let's just get into a film about the Buffalo Bills' current wide receiving room. So first, let's start off talking about Dalton Kincaid, who honestly might be the number one option, or at least like I could see him being a 3rd down and 7 guy, right? Or just in this situation, like what you see, it's a 2nd down and 10, but just, a guy to help move the ball down the field, not necessarily going to be getting you 50-yard bombs, although maybe occasionally, but probably not, given that he's a tight end. You see the concept. This is a lot of what Kincaid does. It's just kind of, I made a whole film study on him, but, kind of real quick, does a lot of stuff like this, which is starting off as just an underneath play against zone coverage. You're going to see that Allen takes the snap. He just flips the ball to Kincaid, but there is a Jets player running over trying to tackle him pretty quickly. But Kincaid, you're going to see him do a really nice move, gets around that linebacker for a bit, still gets tackled, gains 7 yards though. And I think that's what Kincaid can kind of bring to this receiving core. It's just a guy you trust to get 7 yards and set up a 3rd down and 3, right? That's definitely a big part of what he brings to the table. And he's not the only tight end who can be effective. Going over to Dawson Knox, I do think that Knox is effective in other ways. One thing I really like about him though, when watching film of him, is you see him have a really good, I'll just show you instead of explain it. The way this play is designed to work is he's just going to go in motion from the offense's left to the offense's right. So when that happens, you see that Kincaid moves in that direction, but right here is starting to turn the quarter, go further down the field. Play isn't working exactly as designed. It's kind of breaking down a little bit, and I feel like every time that Josh Allen has a play breakdown, Dawson Knox is the guy that he looks towards. Watch him, he's going to make a throw and really has, great chemistry with Knox. And, Knox makes the grab. Really good job by both those two guys. So I think Kincaid might be the kind of guy that, he's the guy who will give you 7 yards and you trust can do that. Knox might not be that guy, but if Kincaid's double teamed, no one's open, well then let's try and find Knox, see if he's open. Of course, going to a college play, I do think that when they're wanting a big play, I think Keon Coleman is the guy they're hoping can give them that big play. That's what he was able to do in college. This play, one-on-one matchup down the field. You see that when, this isn't Josh Allen, but when the Florida State quarterback takes a snap, on paper, like as of right now, it's not like clearly open or anything. This is one of those like, hey, let's just put the ball in Keon Coleman's direction because he usually comes down with it. And as you see here, Keon Coleman comes down with it. Really good job there by Keon Coleman to make that play. And this is something that I think that when it comes to winning on the outside, I think the Bills are hoping he can do that part of what they need, right? They also added Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who might be the option for the other downfield shot, which is interesting. So again, if Keon Coleman's double teamed, let's say Keon Coleman hits, he's awesome at that stuff, so they start teams start double teaming him. You need someone else to potentially win down the field as well against easier matchups, and we've seen MVS be that guy at times. Of course, this play probably, certainly one of the biggest catches of his career, if not the biggest. It's a 3rd down and 9 situation. If they don't convert the first down, then there's the 2-minute warning. The Ravens will have 2 minutes to try and tie the game up. Listen, given the way the Ravens offense has gone this game, you don't trust it too much, but still, you don't want to give them that option. MVS running a deep shot. And when this play begins, you're going to see Mahomes takes the snap. He fires in that direction, and you see the separation that Marquez Valdes-Scantling has. At the end of the day, speed is speed. And for all of MVS's faults, he is still someone who is a valuable piece and someone that can, in specific situations, still help you out. If nothing else, you have to respect his speed. You might have to put a faster corner on him, meaning you can't put your fast corner on Keon Coleman, right? He still plays a nice role. On this one, he does adjust nicely and make the grab. Again, not saying he's a perfect player, not saying he's a flawless player, but are there very positive aspects to his game? Yes, I think there are. I think this is an example of that. And then you also got Khalil Shakir, who, so for a play like this, it's a pretty simple play, just a wide receiver screen. I think he could also be a possession guy, right? Maybe doing similar, type of value type plays that you get Dalton Kincaid of like, hey, let's just, can you get us 7 to 10 yards type of plays, but just in a different manner where, again, they're just getting the ball in his hands. You're going to see that Josh Allen, makes the catch. He's going to quickly throw it to, Shakir on this play. You see that it's a bit of a peculiar position, right? I mean, you do have a Miami player running in, trying to make trying to get him. So there's that you have to worry about. However, watch Shakir sidestep him, and he's going to be able to pick up a good amount of yards on this play. Not saying he does this all the time or even often, but he does it on occasion, and it's a nice quality to have in a player to be able to pull this out every now and then and again. It's not necessarily about the fact that he can always do this, but just about the fact that he can occasionally do this, like what he's doing here. So I do think that there is some reason for optimism with the Bills. I don't think it could be a disastrous receiving core, and there is some hope that it could be even better than that, right? Like if Keon Coleman does, blossom into a wide receiver 1, then you have plenty of options that can be effective. I do think, though, that they're asking a lot now of a wide receiver who has never played a game in the NFL, and I think that's the concerning thing. So if that doesn't hit, this could be a bit of a tough receiving core. I don't know if it would be a complete disaster, but again, if you're playing a really good secondary, like like the Kansas City Chiefs, for example, you're going to need Josh Allen to be superhuman, and he's certainly capable of doing it. But if it's me, I don't want to ask him to do it consistently. I'd rather make it a little bit easier on him, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.